2022 was the year of the Steam Deck, and while it wasn't the first handheld gaming PC, it certainly made the format more mainstream than it has been up to this point. Companies like EA and GPD have been working in this space for a number of years now, but it wasn't until Gabe stepped in that many gamers started to become interested in this as a platform. Sure, compared to Switch, PlayStation, etc., the 1 million Steam Decks sold doesn't sound that impressive, but the facts are Valve have sold more Steam Decks in a year than these other companies have sold combined since they started to pump out this tech. The knock-on effect of the Steam Deck's success is many of its competitors are rushing to the market with so-called Steam Deck killers, promising all these improvements over Valve's device, and are relying on influencers to push this narrative. And with the exception of Taki Udon, what they say just doesn't seem trustworthy.
Hello, I like money.
First off, Valve have shown a commitment to this current device. Just like these other manufacturers, when AMD announced a new chip, they could have quite easily started to work on and then push out a Steam Deck 2. But they know that treating this hardware in the same way that mobile phone manufacturers treat new handsets and tossing out incremental updates all the time would kill any confidence people had that they were buying a sustainable device. The issue is, that's exactly what the likes of EA do. They pump out a device via Indiegogo, and as soon as new tech comes along, they roll on to launching a so-called bigger and better version. For some reason, well, I say for some reason, we know the reason, it's because they're sponsored with free devices. But I'll say again, for some reason, the channels covering these new devices seem to gloss over that fact. One video I watched was from Beat 'em Ups, and to be fair, he's hardly what I would call a reliable tech channel, but listen to what he said.
The thing with the Steam Deck and Nintendo Switch and any gaming console, they always sell their consoles at a huge loss so that you sign up to PlayStation Now and sign up to PlayStation Plus and Game Pass and Games with Gold, and then you start buying their software. When all those subscriptions and softwares kick in, they're gonna make their money back triple-fold, and selling the console to you that cheap doesn't matter in the long run. It's the same with Steam Deck. It only works with Steam unless you hack it, so you literally have to buy more Steam games.
Wrong, 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 wrong. Wrong, 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 wrong. You're wrong, you're wrong, you're wrong.
Now, that information is just plain incorrect, and it seems to be an attempt to explain away the price difference between these sort of devices and the Steam Deck. To say that the Steam Deck is a closed ecosystem is just untrue. In fact, not only can you buy and play Steam games, you can also use the Epic Store and GOG. And the reality is, if you buy something like an A&E, you're going to buy from the exact same places. So to liken this to something like the Xbox or the PlayStation, where you are truly in a closed ecosystem where you have no choice but to buy from that manufacturer, and to even liken it to things like a subscription service like PlayStation Now, PlayStation Plus, or even Xbox Game Pass, none of this holds any sort of a reality when it comes to the Steam Deck. Now, the facts are, yes, these devices will give you slightly better performance than on a Steam Deck, but we're really not talking huge gains here. And in fact, with screen real estate, you're probably not going to see that much of an improvement over what you get on the Steam Deck. Now, these devices are actually going to cost you in excess of 2 times the value of a Steam Deck, sometimes as much as 3 times the value of a Steam Deck. And at times you're only seeing performance gains of about 20%. Now, I understand these channels have worked hard to be provided with these products for free, but they seem to become detached from the reality of having to actually pay for these devices. So videos calling them Steam Deck killers seem to be wide of the mark for me, as cost to performance is a huge metric when it comes to buying a product. Saying things like, it's better than the Steam Deck, sure, that's probably true from a performance aspect, but at more than twice the price, I'd expect it to be. And to be honest, as a consumer, I'd expect it to be a hell of a lot better than the Steam Deck, instead of the marginal improvements that we're seeing at the moment. That's like someone making a video saying the RTX 2080 is better than the RTX 2060. Well, sure, but for most people, the RTX 2060 will perform absolutely fine if they're playing on something like a 1080p screen. And if you say to them, well, give us an extra $600 and you can get an extra few frames a second, that's not going to be enough for average consumers to drop down that cash. I mean, could you imagine that Sony brought out the PlayStation 5 and the PlayStation 5 looked 10% better than the PlayStation 4? Why would people want to stump up so much more money to purchase that device? And the thing is, when it comes to the manufacturers like Sony, like Xbox, etc., sure, some people may think the new devices don't look that much better than the old devices, but they don't cost 3-4 times the price. So for people like Beat-em-Ups in his video to try and correlate examples like that, to me, just seems really irresponsible. And if you go and look at channels like ETA Prime, he does a good job in showcasing what you can get from these devices via emulation and things like that. And again, it comes down to one or two platforms, like maybe the Xbox 360, maybe the PlayStation 3, where on some games you will get better performance. And you have to ask yourself, is it worth your while paying more than double the price to pretty much get better performance out of a couple of emulators? Okay, sure, these devices do use Windows natively, and for some people that may be the thing that pushes them towards wanting to get them. The thing is, with the deck, you can install Windows. You can have a dual boot where you can boot into Windows if that is something that you wish to do. It's just most people tend to not do it because SteamOS is very streamlined and it makes things very easy for you to use. And in fact, with the likes of the Aya Neo and stuff like that, one of the things that's actually a bit of a detriment to it is you have to use full-blooded Windows on such a small screen. So having to do certain things like reading prompts, or even when you're opening menus, etc., reading text can be very difficult on such small real estate. Now, I do expect more of these handheld PCs to come along over the next year or two. I don't personally expect them to mount any real competition to the Steam Deck unless they can bring down the cost significantly. And if you're watching these review videos wishing you had one rather than your deck, you really have to ask yourself, what is it providing you for that extra $600 that you're not getting currently from your Steam Deck? To me, I'm yet to see anything compelling that these devices offer that you cannot do currently on your Steam Deck at a much, much lower cost. Admittedly, some of them look pretty cool, but for the money they're charging for them, to me, it's a pass. And again, I just feel like these channels are currently trying to create this influencer hype to try and get people to buy into something that ultimately isn't going to deliver them the cost to performance that is worthwhile. Anyway, let me know what you think in the comments down below, and I'll catch you all on the next video.